Starting from this lecture, we'll dive into creating a fully functional purchase feature for our API. So let's begin by creating a new route inside the ebook folder. We'll name this route file purchase.js. To kick things off, we need to require express from express package. And once that's done, we can declare the route constant and of course export the route. Now move on to the app.js file. We'll bring in the purchase route at the top. And within our list of ebook routes, let's add the purchase route. Alright, in order to build the purchase route, we'll be utilizing Stripe for handling payments. If you're not familiar with Stripe, it's a fantastic payment process platform. But before we proceed, you need to have your own Stripe account. So head over to the Stripe website at stripe.com and sign up for an account. If you're already signed in like me, you can access your account dashboard directly. Once you've completed the sign up process, let's open up your account dashboard. The first thing we need to do is create a new payment account. You can find a button at the top, simply click on it and select New Account. Feel free to choose any name you prefer. As an example, I already have an account named Education. Alright, now let's switch to the test mode using this switcher. This is important because it allows us to run Stripe on an HTTP connection. You see, Stripe only accepts real payments on a secure HTTPS connection, and since we're currently in the development phase of our API and won't be processing actual payments, we have to work in the test mode. Great. Now let's click on Developers and navigate to the API Keys section. Here, make sure to double check that we're in test data mode, indicated by the orange switcher. Now, inside this section, you'll find two types of keys, the publishable key and the secret key. Now, the publishable key is meant for the client side, while the secret key is used on the API side. Click on the Reveal Test Key button and copy the secret key. In our purchase route file, we'll declare a constant named stripe_secret_key. Make sure to use only uppercase letters to indicate that this constant value should not be modified during runtime. It's just a naming convention. Alright, we'll set its value to the copied secret Stripe key. This secret key is essential for processing Stripe payments, as it ensures that each payment is securely stored within our Stripe account. Now that we have our Stripe account and the necessary secret key, we need to install the Stripe package from npm. Once the installation is complete, we'll create another constant called Stripe and require the Stripe package. This will give us a function that is used to initialize a new secure Stripe connection. We can do that simply by passing in the Stripe secret key as an argument for this function. This initialization step is crucial since we can't perform any payment processing without properly initializing Stripe. That's why we're placing this code at the top of our file. Alright, it's time to define the purchase route itself. We'll be using the post method for this route, and the path will be /purchase. We need to retrieve the ID of the ebook that the user wants to buy as a URL param. And finally, to handle this route, we'll add an asynchronous request handler. That's it for now. We'll continue with the implementation details in our next lecture. Let's continue building the purchase route. The client is going to send us his credit card information in the form of a token. This token is going to be generated on the client side using Stripe. And the server side, this token is going to be received under the property Stripe token, which is going to be inside the request body. Go ahead and extract it like I did here. Before proceeding with the payment, we need to check first if the ebook document exists or not. For that, declare a constant and name it ebook. We're going to fetch the ebook document from the database using the ebook module. So we need to require it at the top of this file, constant ebook, require, 2 levels out, models, ebook. Now, use the find by ID method to fetch an ebook by its ID. We can get the ebook ID from the request param. So inside here, pass in rag.params.ebookid. In the next line, add an if statement to check if we found an ebook or not. If we don't, then throw a new bad request error. Let's require this error class at the top, constant bad request error equals require 2 levels up, common errors, bad request error. The class takes a custom error message, so pass in document not found. Alright, now since we're using the throw keyword to throw the error, we have to wrap our code inside the try catch block. Let's add it at the bottom, try, then catch error, and use the next function to handle the thrown error. Take all of this code and place it inside here. Nice. Let's continue now. If we found an ebook with the provided ID, we can proceed to the payment process and charge the client for the ebook price. To do that, we need Stripe. So declare a constant charge. Set its value to await Stripe, then charges. And by the way, if VS Code is not providing you with suggestions about the available methods and properties inside the Stripe package, try to add this description comment at the top of the line where you have required Stripe. Once you do that, you'll be able to see all the suggestions. Now, to create a Stripe charge, we're going to use stripe.charges.create method. It takes an object where we can provide information about the payment transaction. Start by adding the amount property, which represents the amount of money we're going to charge the client. In our case, that's going to be the ebook price. So here, write ebook.price. When working with payment providers like Stripe, it's always a good practice to convert the amount to the smallest unit of a currency. Let's say we're accepting USD currency, so we need to convert the amount in cents by multiplying it by 100. Next, let's set the currency to USD. You can also provide an optional description about the payment. Let's say something like one-time payment. This is not like a subscription plan where the client has to pay every month or every year, so it's one-time payment. Now we have to pass in the Stripe token, which holds the payment card information. We can pass it as a property called source. After charging the client, we have to send him a download URL to download his book. Set the status code to 200 and in a JSON object, add the property download _URL. At the top, we'll declare a constant download _URL and set it equal to a literal string. The client is going to download the ebook from our API. So the download URL is going to be http:// localhost 3000, then add ebook, and finally /download. We need to create the download route inside the ebook folder alongside the other ebook routes. We'll do that in the next lecture. We need to provide a secure way of downloading the ebook. When the client sends a GET request to the download route, we have to check for his identity and if he is authorized to download the ebook. To achieve that, we can use a secure token to authorize the download and attach it to the end of the URL like so. We can create the token inside here, declare a constant token, and use the JSON Web Token package to generate the token. Make sure to require the package at the top and name it JWT. Now, use the sign method to generate the token. Provide a payload object where we can save important information about the current purchase. We need to save the ebook ID from ebook._id and the user ID coming from rag.currentuser.userID. After the payload object, we have to provide the secret key. Make sure to use the same one we used throughout the course, which is secret_key. When we decode the token in the download route, we have to use the same secret key used to generate the token. So if you want to use a different secret key to generate the token now, make sure to also use it when decoding the token. Otherwise, you won't be able to authorize the download. Now, to make this token and the overall download URL more secure, we can make the token expire in a short time. So add an object as the third argument and set the property expires in to, for example, 1 day. So pass in the string 1D. If the client didn't use the download URL in 1 day, the token will expire and he won't be able to download his ebook. Of course, we don't want that to happen, so we will provide a solution for that later on the course. Now, the charge constant here is not being used in the code. We can use it to check if the payment was successful or not, and that by checking the value of the status property. If the payment was successful, this property value is going to be a string saying succeeded. If it's still in progress, it will say pending, and if it fails, it will say failed. So, we'll use this property inside an if statement and check if it equals to failed. In that case, we have to throw a new instance of the bad request error and say payment has failed. Nice. Now we can save all of this and start testing the purchase route. So open Postman, and before anything else, make sure to authenticate yourself by signing in using the sign-in route. Then in another request section, let's fetch all the ebooks from our database. So pass in the route ebook/all and change the request method to get. Now let's send the request. I'm going to purchase this ebook with a price equal to $50. So go ahead and copy the ID of this ebook document. Then in a new request interface, we're going to purchase the ebook by sending a request to the route ebook/purchase and attach the ebook ID at the end like so as a URL para. We have to change the request HTTP method to post. In the body section, select the raw option, and inside here, we only need one piece of data, the Stripe token. We can generate this token in a new request interface by sending a request to the following Stripe API endpoint, https api.stripe.com v1 tokens. Inside the body section, the Stripe API expects the data to come in URL encoded format. So select the Form URL Encoded option. Now we need to provide our payment card information. Pass in the first field, the card number. Make sure it's written in the same way. Card, two array brackets, and inside them pass in the word number. For the value, pass in the number 42 8 times. So the entire length of the card number has to be 16 digits. This is a fake card number provided by Stripe for testing purposes. The next field is the card expiration month. So pass in card, two array brackets, exp_month. Now set the expiration month to 12 or any other month number of your choice. Next, the card expiration year. It needs to be a year higher than the current year. So if you're in 2025, pass in the year 2026 or higher than that. Finally, we have to provide the card CVC. This is the card verification code. In this case, it can be any random 3 digits number. After providing all of this information, we can send the request. We received an error telling us that there is something wrong about the URL. The URL itself is fine, but we have to use the post HTTP method instead of get. So change that if you made the same mistake and resend the request. Now, we received another error telling us we didn't provide an API key. We can attach the API key to the request by going inside the authorization section and select the type of the authorization to bear a token, and then pass in the publishable Stripe key inside this token field. You can grab the publishable key by going inside your Stripe account, make sure you're in test mode, and then navigate to the developers section. Once you're there, switch to API keys, and you'll find the publishable key right here. Click on it to copy the key, then return back to Postman and pass in the API key inside the token field. Nice! Now, with all the necessary information in place, we can try again and send the request and generate a Stripe token. And there you go! We received this object that contains all of this information about our payment card. So what really happened is that Stripe has saved our payment card information temporarily inside our Stripe account and have provided us with this object as a token that refers to our payment card in the Stripe database. It's a secure way to handle payments. Now, the ID of this object is actually our Stripe token that we were looking for. So go ahead and copy it. Then return back to this request interface where we have the ebook purchase route, and in the body, set the value of the Stripe token property to the generated token. Remember to be authenticated before sending the request. If you find the cookie header with its value set to the JWT token, it means that you're okay to go. Alright, let's send the request now. And there you go, our secure download URL. You can use it to download your purchase ebook. Copy it, and inside a new request interface, pass in that URL to the URL field and make sure the HTTP method is set to get. The URL is so long because of the JWT token, but that's not a problem for now. If you hit send, you'll receive this error with the message not found. It's talking about the download route which doesn't exist yet inside our API. We'll work on it in the next lecture. Before leaving, I want to show you how to manage all of your payments using your Stripe account. To check for the last payment, you can go to Payments. In the test mode, you'll find a list of one or many payment transactions. The first one is the last payment that we made together. you can see that the amount is 50 USD dollars. And you can also see the description we provided for this payment, alongside the payment card number. If you click on it, you'll be able to see more information about the payment. As you can see, Stripe is the most advanced and user-friendly payment provider. That's why a lot of companies like X are using it for their payment processes. Alright, let's move on to the next lecture and work on the download route.